All right. So, well, there's some stuff going on right now in the world, obviously, that everybody is reacting to. Everybody is aware of what's going on with Israel and Iran. And the thing is when addressing Israel, and the whole thing about this is that it falls underneath Zionism, and Zionism is what rules the world, the old world order, and is the old Jewish bankers, all that, the old dusty holy books and religions, and the old, covenants and everything, of the ancient past is represented in Zionism. And that's actually one of the reasons, or the main reason, why the world has not been able to evolve. And the Illuminati have definitely talked about that extensively, and addressing Zionism, because Zionism is definitely the one place where people don't like to go to talk to. It's the untouched topic, but this is what needs to be touched to understand what is going on. And so with predatory free market Zionist capitalism being the old world order, also running its tentacles into not only the economic but the religious and political aspects, and so you have to trace everything back to Zionism. And the funny thing is like with America, America has pretty much, as America is Zionist, and it doesn't even realize it. And especially now with the rich billionaire being in charge of everything, and the reason why they are rich is because of free market Zionist capitalism, and the control it has in politics. Because if you go into a lobby into the US, everybody supports Israel. And that is actually religious control too. Is because actually I just heard Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz having a little talk, and then I hear Ted Cruz talk about if you support Israel or protect Israel, you will be rewarded by God, or I forgot exactly what he said, but that's what he said. And he's like, and it says it in the Bible. And then Tucker Carlson's like, where does that say that? And what quote was that? But what's his name? Ted Cruz couldn't even know the scripture. And he said he identified himself as a Christian, and so did Tucker Carlson. So they are both Christians. I am not a Christian. I am a Illuminatist. I'm in the Illuminati. I am an ontological mathematician. And so I'm able to see from an outside perspective on all these other religions, because part of the Illuminati is studying all the mythos religions, and then getting to the logos religion, which is the only religion of reason and logic, and it is the only religion that's actually going to build on a stable foundation. That's why all this other nonsense is going on right now. So and that's what's going on, is because the religious people that are Christians, that are, Judaic, they, everybody supports Israel because that is what Israel says they are, is the chosen people. That's what Jews say they are, is the chosen people. They say they are the chosen people. And then so what does that leave everybody else? And they say that because God promised them a land and said they were the chosen people, but the whole thing is their God is actually not God, it's Satan. And you can identify that from the first beginnings of Abraham, the trial of Abraham, and God sending everybody to hell. And that is not morally unjust. Like when you reasonably and logically deduct the actions of Yahweh or Jehovah and also Allah, like they are not morally good. So then you can see that that is not a good creator or God, and that is actually the demiurge. And so that's part of the knowledge that the Illuminati reveal too, which is ancient knowledge that they've preserved since before the Abrahamic religions. And when you find the Illuminati, you will uncover that knowledge, through their work. And it is the truth. And so that's, this is what everybody's gonna come to understanding. When all the religions go to war, the politics are fighting, nothing's working out, everybody's fighting, everybody's disagreeing, because nothing is unified. And that's why even the Illuminati are not a debating society. They don't even debate, because there's no reason to debate when you have figured everything out. So, with the religious tendrils of Zionism, getting into politics, I saw this one picture where they were in the lobby of U.S. and each person had an American flag and an Israel flag, an American flag and an Israel flag, next to it, and everybody supported Israel, and I understand the reason for that is the religious, mainly the religious control, and then the political control, and economic control, because the billionaires do not want a different system. This system is a predatory capitalist system. Globalism is that, but we can see what is happening with that, because it is not working. And then like you got people like Donald Trump now going and gonna go support Israel. Even when he said America first, like, we're gonna go fucking fight Iran now. Like, we need to not be fucking fighting Iran. So, this is starting to wake people up, like the actions that are being taken. And this is actually gonna uncover Zionism. The actions that are being taken by our leaders and stuff, which are rich plutocrats, because an oligarchy. And so this is what I'm foreseeing happening, and I am foreseeing like there being a loss of control in America, like there's going to be a total loss of control. Donald Trump's going to lose control of America. And those are going to come through, selfish actions, because if you're in a leader, you're going to do the best thing for the people. You know what I'm saying? That's what the government is about. And, the general will of the people is about to be heard, because the general will is definitely not going to war. You know what I'm saying? With countries, Iran, like, your soul is like even like people in MAGA are not even understanding the how not good and bad this is, though, because like if you're connected to your soul, you are like, no, this is not good. cannot be going to a war with Iran. And we'll see what Donald Trump does if he listens to the people and stuff, because there is, no King's Day being, happening. There's the LA riots going on, where they're deploying Marines in. I'm seeing all sorts of people, from different cities all over, posting military vehicles going up in the cities and stuff. Because, I mean, they're like, we're about to go to war with Iran, and then, we're going to have to instill martial law back in the U.S. And it's just like, this is out of control. So, what the good thing about this is that, this is where the people are heard. You know what I'm saying? This is where the voice of the people will be heard. All right, so talking about Zionism. Because the Illuminati, they write articles in the Armageddon conspiracy, deconstructing Zionism and deconstructing Abrahamism, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. They have written countless millions and millions upon words about the deconstruction of Abrahamism. So once you find them and you go through that, you won't be a Christian, a Jew, or a Muslim anymore. If you are reasonably and logical. So Zionism is a historical and ideological force. This is the force that is behind the actions of what are happening right now. It's not just a political movement, but a metaphysical continuation of ancient religious identity. Which is the whole, it aligns with a fossil religion, which was said by Arnold Toynbee. And, the Judaic religion, I mean, they are saying they are the chosen people. You know what I'm saying? And there are other religions too that are saying they're the chosen people. Like Christians are saying they're the chosen people. Jews are saying they're the chosen people. Muslims are saying they're the chosen people. You know what I'm saying? And when your religion is saying that you're the chosen people, there's definitely something wrong with that. And this, I'm like if I were in front of like a crowd full of people right now, and I was able to be orating this, like I would be definitely giving a speech, because this is all against Zionism. You know what I'm saying? Which is right now what needs to be taken out. So Israel needs to be taken out. And I'm sorry, but like the U.S. is definitely needs to be restored. So America as Zion's proxy. So the idea that America is more Zionist than Israel reflects a popular critique with anti-Zionist circles, particularly among the leftist and Islamic thinkers. So, Americans unknowingly serve an ideological and geopolitical power beyond their own sovereignty. So, this, like, Zionism is the enemy, and America needs to realize that. So the call for logos over mythos. Fossil religions such as Judaism, Christianity, and Islam must be superseded by a rational, scientific, and philosophical worldview, which is logos, reason and logic. this argument reinforces the Enlightenment critique of religious dogma, but is deeply challenged in a world still largely shaped by mythos. So I am endeavoring, like, to get out the answer, you know what I'm saying, to all the problems in the world. Like, that is what my whole entire work is been about, is just discovering the answer, like remembering the answer, finding the Illuminati, realizing that they have the answer, they figured out everything. They are a secret society that is advanced beyond the masses' comprehension. But they are the, like, in the Matrix, they are like the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar. You know what I'm saying? Fighting the liberation for the liberation of humanity. And they always have been. And since, their inception, back in the time of King Solomon. So, that's just going over Zionism. Talking about the talking about Mosaic law, and they are carrying, they're trying to preserve something, like, through thousands of years, and then people are always like, why is stuff still the same? It's because of, like, Mosaic law and the Abrahamic religions, the old fossil religions, which is about Jewish nationalism, which leads to the topic of nationalism too, because nationalism is not the way to go. Nationalism, like, there have been certain other, regimes, like, that were nationalists, such as the Nazis. You know what I'm saying? They had a nationalist and basically a government, and then that didn't end well for them. And then, anyone that's been nationalists, like, we are now, Donald Trump has turned America into a nationalist rogue nation. And all of this information that I'm talking about is coming from the Illuminati and what they write about the Armageddon conspiracy. And the Illuminati even say, they're like, oh, you think you know better than the Illuminati? Like, then show us. And no one would be able to do that, because the amount that they've written is more than anyone else has ever done and will do. That's what happens if you find their work, which is the Holy Grail, which does lead to gnosis, which will awaken you, and is the ascension teachings, like the real ascension teachings, because I skip around a lot on what I'm talking about, but I also, like, unify it and bring it together, because it is all unified, like what I'm experiencing in my experience, because there's Alpha World, there's the Dream World, and then there's Omega World, and I'm experiencing a trinity of both, because I'm having dreams that are messages to me, that are basically communicating that I'm receiving high level knowledge, and that I'm teaching it in the Alpha World. But not only am I teaching it in Alpha World, but I'm also teaching it in the Dream World and Omega World, because I'm having dreams about talking about illumination and enlightenment to, like, people on the other side. So I'm doing it on both sides, and looking to light and divine sparks, looking to go viral with my work, because it is the answer, and the way to solve all of the problems in the world. Because going back to the nationalist, understanding, like if you're cutting yourself off from everybody, that, like, yes, globalists, that was whatever, a right it was an idea, but then obviously got infiltrated and taken over by the elite, and then the globalist agenda was ran by the elite, which run everything anyway. But nationalism isn't the way to go either, because like what Donald Trump and what he did with getting out of the UN, and now they're, we're like, okay, America can do it. America can do everything. And then, which is really not the way the world, because we all gotta hold hands and sing Kumbaya and get along together and share. And like building a nationalist worldview is dangerous, because you can then be like, no, we can do this, we don't need fucking anybody. Like that is leads you in a lonely place. And then even if you've been in the lonely place, you realize that you do need people outside of you, so the Trump, people are basically, the elite are saying they don't need the people, and the people are rising up against that. So that this is all going according to plan. And now wars are happening from it. You know what I'm saying? And people are arguing, and they're trying to keep things under control with wars, but that's not gonna help anything. What is gonna help is a new government, and not a democracy, a meritocracy, where the best, most meritorious, knowledgeable people are in the best positions, and that is done away with doing away with privilege, and just taking away the elite's money through 100% inheritance tax, which will be the start of a meritocracy. And it's going to be an emergency, because people are going to, when a martial law is instilled, you're not in a meritocracy. You're at the final understanding of what a democracy is, which is a plutocratic oligarchy. You know what I'm saying? And now that the Big Brother and the surveillance state are losing control, they're gonna deploy the military in the nation. And people may think like that needs to happen and stuff, like because they're getting swayed by a certain movement, because the Christian nationalist MAGA movement is a far right extreme movement, just like the liberal woke left is. And I've got all this from the Illuminati, and they're just as bad as the woke left. But the MAGA Christian nationalist movement is like, they have control of the Christians, they have control of the MAGA people, make America great again. So nationalist people, all the people that are for America being great, they have all them, and all the Christians that believe that God saved Donald Trump to like as a Messiah, what I'm saying, to be put in office and save the world. That's also their worldview, you know what I'm saying? But is that really what happened? You know what I'm saying? So, this is the deconstruction of what's going on in the world right now, and so you can have a clear view, and because clarity is going to be what leads to unity. So the myth of the chosen people, origins and psychological effect on chosenness, religious identity versus universal ethics, the chosenness, the myth of the chosen people. This is this what is happening is going to unveil the myth of the chosen people, and like the Jews being the chosen people. And then once that's revealed too, that's going to destroy Abrahamic religion, which is, everybody's going to lose the faith in the books of the religions and realize that God was made up. You know what I'm saying? And it all had to do with a voice of a psychopath in the desert hearing a voice in his head to slit his son's throat. And then any Christian, you know what I'm saying, you bring that up to them, they will say to you, oh, but God saved Isaac, and and it didn't happen, and the angels came and stuff. But it's like, then the Illuminati say, reasonably and logically, they're like, is it a morally good and just command for you to order your son to slit his son's throat? So that's where it's gonna be understood, the origins of the myth of the chosen people. So, America as the Golem of Zion. Analysis of U.S. foreign policy through the lens of Zionist influence. The synthesis of evangelical Christianity and Israeli nationalism. So, in America right now, it's like, you got U.S. foreign policy in the lens of Zionist influence. So, U.S. foreign policy is completely influenced by Zionist influence. That's why we're gonna go fucking get in a war right now. Hopefully not. You know what I'm saying? That's why they say that it's the Golem of Zion. That America is the Golem of Zion. You know what I'm saying? We're not America first. We're Zion first. Because that's what they say. They pay their bills. We pay their bills. You know what I'm saying? And fight their wars, which we're fucking about to do right now. And if this happens, like, it is my prediction that America is going to be put underneath martial law. So, yeah, it talks about the Holocaust and the new Holocaust, moral equivalence, Nazi crimes versus Palestinian suffering, the ethics of trauma-based justification. So, that is like what they're talking about too, is because what happened in the Holocaust, because what Hitler was actually against was Zionism, but he actually took it into, exterminating all the Jewish ethnicity instead of like the Zionist movement, done through Jewish black magic. And the highest one of those people are the Brotherhood of Shadows, which has actually been around since the time of Atlantis. So, yeah, the failed Enlightenment and the return of religion. Why religion didn't disappear after the Enlightenment. Why logos failed to overcome mythos. So, the Enlightenment period times and the revolutionary time have been, times of the logos, of the triumph, over mythos. But mythos in the old world order has always been able to stop the spread of the logos and the Enlightenment. That's why the Enlightenment has failed. And, that's why religion has returned, and that's what is controlling people. And so Enlightenment, comes through an awakening. And right now, America is getting its awakening. So Star Trek versus Zion, the Logos future. So ending religion, tribalism, and myth in favor of reason and unity. So the answer is reason and unity. You know what I'm saying? It's not nationalism. It's not Christianity. It's definitely not saying Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior and that solves everything and forgives you of your sins and you're going to heaven. You know, Christians are not going to like me for saying that, but I've done much studying in the Illuminati work and their whole series, you know, the anti-Christian series of, you know, which dates back to, you know, the inception of 561 BCE. So, this is what people are going to wake up to, and I'm just a guide, a guide of the light, you know, because one guy actually said to me, you know, I said, may the light, you know, I'm like, may the light bless you, and he's like, well, Jesus is the light, and I'm like, Jesus is not the light. Jesus actually is a deified man that the Romans use to create a religion around. And I wrote a whole book about that called The Truth of Jesus Christ. So from fossils to stars, humanity's final decision. Call for a planetary logos revolution. The need for post-religious, meritocratic, future-based civilization. And this is what the Illuminati have always brought to the table, because there is one thing more powerful than all the armies of the world, and that is an idea whose time has come. And that is a new world order. And a new world order is actually a meritocracy, an illumination and social and capitalism, which is the answer to the three-body problem of the old world order, which the world is going to wake up that through the fall of the elite and the old world order, they're going to see that this is the answer, because everything happens in cycles, and this time around we're going to either choose to rise like a phoenix, or we're going to choose to get caught back up in this cycle again of the elite rising us. And what actually takes us in this cycle is the elite remaining in power, you know, through the passing down of their wealth to maintain their power in perpetuity. And the elite talked about a necrocracy. They basically a necrocracy, where it is like rule from the grave. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the establishment and of the old fossil religions have done, is created a necrocracy. So I'm going to end this on that, and until next time.